Everyone just drove backwards. Now, here's the thing. After about a season or two of these races, they had to make a specific category for the DAF cars because they would always win, like hands down, because they could go fast, same speed in reverse as you can going forward.
Because the engine they were engineered differently than the others, right?
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back to Fast Cars Go Vroom, where we hope that you came here to learn something about automobile racing today, and we hope that we can bring something to the table that you've never heard before, something that you laugh at, something that you get excited about, something that you might learn. It's something that you might want to go see. So Fast Cars Go Vroom, we bring a couple topics to the table and discuss things that we might think are funny, interesting, or that we've just never seen before. My name is Clint.
And I'm Rob.
And we're going to talk about some things that burn gasoline, have tires that go around in a circle really fast, and they try to race each other to the finish line or go until they've destructed each other's vehicles. It might be on asphalt, might be on water, might be in the air, might have 2 wheels, might have 4 wheels. You never know what we're going to bring to the table. So we're excited that you're back. If this is your first time here at Fast Cars Go Vroom, please subscribe on YouTube there, give us a like, and share with your friends who you think might want to learn something about automobile racing. So all right, so the way this works is we both bring topics to the table. I'm going to start it off tonight with a new type of racing that I discovered. I don't know if this is actually, it is racing because they're trying to finish first, but there's a little bit of demo derby in here, but something I'd never seen before until I got into this research. But this is called figure 8 train racing. Have you ever heard of this before, Rob?
I actually have. I think we've been looking up the same things. I think our algorithm's getting to be similar here. I've only recently come across it, so I'm just like you. Teach us. Tell me.
So figure 8 train racing, there's lots of different ways that you could do figure 8 racing. If you can see the track behind me, you can see clearly the figure 8 in the image right there. But it's part demo derby, part racing, and it makes it kind of interesting because you have to go across the infield and avoid each other. But these guys are taking it to the next level. This involves 3 cars. So 3 cars in one unit. What they're doing is they're taking a larger car at the front, and then they're chaining a smaller compact car to the back of that car, taking the engine out of that. It's basically dead weight. And then there's a third car chained that's a train, and there's another driver in that car. There's no engine power in it, only steering. So it creates this a train of 3 vehicles, dead weight in the middle, but rolling on wheels. And they're figure 8 racing. So they're going around the turns, and it creates a whip-like effect, when you got that train going. And then they go across the middle, and they have to avoid each other. And this is some crazy looking stuff, man. One of the things I saw, there was a husband and wife team.
Taylor and Stephanie Valamy, and they are married. Teamed
for
up,
now.
married.
For now.
No, they've been actually doing this for a while.
Where one was in the front car, one was in the back car. I can't imagine what the conversations or arguments are like after the end of that race.
Who's the backseat driver?
I think the one that I saw on the videos that I watched, he was the backseat. Husband was the backseat driver.
Smart. Smart.
So yeah, the driver in the front has the power. And they have to figure out a way to communicate and control this thing as it moves around the track. It's hard to stop them, right? Because it's got a lot of weight, and these cars are engineered to the brakes are engineered to only stop one vehicle and not 3. So when they're trying to avoid each other and slamming on brakes, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Forward momentum keeps going, huh?
Right. Yeah.
Actually, that brings up a question. So the person in the last car, I guess they have some sort of like steering, maybe some brakes, right? Something?
They probably have some brakes, but I think in my notes here, it says the car has no engine, but it does have brakes. I don't know. I mean, mainly steering. I would think that if you're, if you're pushing the brakes in the rear, you're just working the opposite direction of what the front car is doing. So I think the goal in the rear car would be just to manipulate the momentum of the train as it's going around the turns, probably. and try to get control of that.
Got your first car, which is your lead car, no brakes. The middle car is just a connector car. It just follows the lead car and holds the brake car. The brake car, you have another driver. Sits in the car, you've got the brake pedal and steering, and that's it.
Like I think of that back person, like, you know, the old hook and ladder trucks, the fireman in the back just steering away, helping go around a turn.
So it's pretty entertaining to watch, just because, you know, of the monstrosity of the vehicle, of the unit as it's chained together. One of the best examples I've seen is in Dacono, California. I think that's how you pronounce that, at Colorado National Speedway. It's an asphalt track, and looks like they put on a pretty good show. Definitely
Nice.
something on my bucket list to go check out. Want to go check another racetrack off the list and see this if I can catch it when they're making it happen.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Yeah.
Interesting stuff, man.
Very cool.
So what do you got? What kind? You got some news, or you got something interesting going
Well,
on?
I got some good racing. Unfortunately, it's not around anymore. I would like to see it. Just like you have a bucket list, I would like this to be a bucket list, but unfortunately, it's not around anymore. What it's called is DAF, D-A-F, DAF Reverse Racing. And as the name implies, there's driving backwards that way,
So in reverse.
in reverse. But wait, before we get to the racing, I got to tell you about the car. The reason why it's DAF, D-A-F, it's a Dutch auto manufacturer. They're called the... Every time I research something, there's a name. There's always a name. I cannot. All right. The Van Dorn Automobielfabriek.
You got it. I think you got it. That's
I think
all right.
so. It's Dutch. The only thing I know about Dutch is doot, 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 doot. Max Verstappen and Stroopwafels. That's all I know. That's all I know.
It's true. Okay.
Dude, come on. Have some coffee and a little Stroopwafel. Have you ever seen those? How they make them? Anyway. So it's the Van Dorn's Automobile Factory. And modern times, nowadays, they were bought out by Volvo. They do long-haul trucks. But back in the 60s and the 70s, they used to make small, compact cars, small little sedans. Think Fiat, like a Mini Cooper. And actually, that bad boy. That's what it is. That's the DAF.
What is that? What's the model of that car?
That I do not know the exact model of that one, but that is a rally car that they entered in. They did do some rally. That's not what made them popular. But real quick, we got to talk about this car because it's unique, and this is what makes this racing cool. All the cars were two doors. They all had what is called the Variomatic continuously variable transmission. It took me a while to figure this out. I like all the nerdy stuff about cars, but when it comes to the mechanics, there are times I just sit there, my eyes glaze over, and I just shake and nod my head when I'm talking to someone. It took me a second to figure this out. Had to do some research. But basically what it is, the engine powers the drive, and the drive has two output shafts. Now, attached to these shafts are V-belts.
Right. Yeah.
Each belt drives one of the back wheels, so each belt has a wheel. The belts are attached to a pulley that is conical in shape. Instead of the groove being straight flat, it's V'd out. And what this does, these pulleys are able to squeeze and widen and make that belt expand and contract. So you can shift gears without actually shifting. It's basically a rudimentary automatic transmission. If you look at the stick shift, there's a forward, a neutral, and a reverse. The cool part about this, you can go the same exact speed forward as you can reverse.
Okay.
All right? So that's what makes it unique. This is where it all ties into racing. So after these cars were stopped manufacturing in the mid-70s, there was a Dutch TV show that came out, started doing not truly demolition shows. They actually did have train racing, but two cars going around, caravan racing, and they had reverse racing. Everyone just drove backwards. Now, here's the thing. after about a season or two of these races, they had to make a specific category for the DAF cars because they would always win, like hands down, because they could go fast, same speed in reverse as you can going forward.
Because the engine, they were engineered differently than the others, right?
Oh yeah. Other competitors would actually, they flipped their differentials around, and even that wasn't enough to keep up. So they had to have a whole separate category for people driving DAF cars.
The goal was to go as fast as possible in reverse. I mean, was that the entire goal?
You got to think of it like you're train racing. Like, yes, we want to get to the end, but if I bump into you 1, 2, half a dozen, 17,000 times, who cares? And actually, the cool part was the show had a Dutch voiceover. Well, obviously it was Dutch, but they had a voiceover, and they didn't cut up the show, but the voiceover was like, remember MXC, Most Extreme Elimination Challenge?
Yeah.
It was like that. Dude would do funny voices over all these drivers trying to get around someone else. And so it was just a spectacle, really.
Kom op, even met die camera. Mooi! Kijk, daar wouden ze eerst mijn commentaarcel neerzetten. Kijk even wat er gebeurt. Leg hem daar maar even neer. Kom maar zeggen, zeg eens een beetje. Mijn gras, daar gaat mijn gras. Ja, dat
It was just a whole show of just how can we just mess up beaters. And people would come in with beaters and just drive around. And
I'm imagining the, was it Benny Hill? Benny Hill. Yeah. Yes, the Benny Hill theme song. Yeah, you know, the old British. It was British, right?
Yeah, it was British. Yeah.
That's what I'm imagining the music is like on that, or the soundtrack of it anyway.
We're gonna have to find that and play that over so everyone knows. Yeah, so, and they had a slogan, forwards go forward, back to go back.
Did you say forwards go forward, backwards?
That's what their slogan was. One of their slogans.
And that's just like a fact. Like, that's not really a slogan. It's just the truth, right?
But I mean, they're Dutch. The Dutch don't pull punches. They're just like, yeah, don't be stupid. Forward to go forward, back to go back.
I'm loving the fact that I don't know any sponsors on this. I don't recognize any of the sponsors on this side.
Any stroopwafels?
Yeah. I stayed at a hotel one time that had those. It was like, God,
I love them.
Totally worth it. Just set them on top of the coffee cup, like you said earlier.
Oh my God, yes, nice and warm. The caramel. Okay, and this is not the Food Network.
Nope,
it's not the Food Network.
It is not.
All right, so we went from train racing with the chain to driving in reverse to what do we got now?
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about something a little more mainstream. Most people are familiar with drag racing, quarter mile, straight shot, funny cars, top fuel, pro stock, motorcycles sometimes, but they're familiar with the idea. It's one of the NHRA, the National Hot Rod Association. There's just some oddities about it, some intricacies in it that you never really thought about, right? We talked about the knee pads and superbike racing on episode 3 or 4. I can't remember which one that was, but
I like that we have a catalog now that we're getting lost.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I like this.
I want to talk about what they call the Christmas tree, which is the great equalizer of drag racing because it's where you start. It's where the event begins, and it determines everything that happens thereafter. Most people have seen it in a commercial or some kind of video. There's a famous roller coaster at Cedar Point called Top Fuel Drags, or Top Fuel 2, I think is what it's called now. It has a Christmas tree where the lights go down the line and signify when you should start, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot more to it. One of the things you see in drag racing, the cars line up, they go through a burnout, right? They get their tires hot by spinning them, creating a lot of smoke, and then they back up to the starting line, and then they creep a little bit more, and they creep an inch and stop. What they're doing is there's an infrared sensor in there in that starting line, and there's a light on top of the Christmas tree in between the lanes that tells them when they get in a certain zone of the starting line, right? When they get right to the starting line, that's where they stop. They want to start as close as possible to the starting line, and they have that indicator on top of that Christmas tree that tells them when they're there. One car gets set, and there's actually like a 7-second timer here, so that each car has the opportunity to get as close to that sweet spot, right, as they can without going over. So one of the things that can happen is if one driver takes too long and the other driver is sitting there with their engine getting hotter and hotter and hotter, and that could actually inhibit their performance. So they put that timer in there so that one driver doesn't just stall and take a lot of time to get their car set. So there's actually a certain amount of time you have to get in the beam of that sensor to the right starting spot, and that light tells you when to do that. And then how the lights work. There's a series of lights. They light up in sequence down the Christmas tree. So they start at the top. These are yellow lights. And they go from top to bottom till it gets to the green light, right? So you have this opportunity. It's kind of like Mario Kart. Mario, the video game, has a component of that to it. I think that's like a normal traffic light, right? You get the beep, the deep, deep. And then you're supposed to push it like 3/4 of the way, right? You know what I'm saying? After that third beep.
Oh yeah,
so you get that boost.
Just get that little boost.
Yeah. So that's the same concept, but you're trying to time that and get that precise moment when you can, get your car going off the line and get the jump there. So you're sensing that. So there's two different types of sequencing that those lights are used. There is the Christmas tree is called the Pro Tree for the highest level, and then the Sportsman. The Sportsman is the more common, and that does what I just described, right? It goes down 3 large amber lights down in sequence. The Pro Tree doesn't work that way. All the lights flash simultaneously, so they don't tick down. They flash 3 times, I think, simultaneously, and then the green light. So you don't get that differential of the different lights.
All right, so Pro Tree is Rockefeller Center, and Sportsman is the Charlie Brown Christmas tree.
Yeah.
I just pissed off everyone in the NHRA. The NHRA.
I mean, the most important thing about it is if you leave before the green light is actually initiated, then that's red lighting, right? And you're disqualified immediately. It doesn't matter how fast you go, what your time is. If you get to the end of the quarter mile first, it doesn't matter. You're DQ'd. If you break that beam before the green light signals that you can go. So the first races I went to were drag racing as a kid. I was around it a lot, and I've known about it my entire life and never understood all of those little pieces of that until I did this research. I just knew that they were loud and fast and went in a straight line. Another thing, the world record now on that, it's like 346 miles an hour, something like that.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I think Courtney Force has it.
It makes sense. That whole family. Yeah. Holy cow.
Top Fuel, Brittany Force. I think it's 341 is Brittany Force's record. So
that's nuts.
That's the top speed record. Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, 225 was fast, I think. Back in the days when Big Daddy Don Garlitz and Shirley Muldowney. But another thing, like these things are so high performance, they basically break that engine completely apart and put it back together after every run.
I just remember seeing a video of how the engine's destroyed right after, and they have to completely rebuild.
It's something that has always been fascinating to me. I live 25 minutes from Norwalk, and I haven't been there yet. It's one of the nicest facilities in the country for drag racing.
Amazing.
That's another track I need to add to my list.
I hear road trip in our future.
Yeah. Yes. There's so many racetracks, so little time. Yeah. So that's the breakdown of the Christmas tree. All that works. There's a lot more to drag racing. Start talking about the technology, but
we'll have to do other episodes on it.
Yeah. So that's what I got. I have a family member that drove a pro stock for a long time. If he ever hears this, he's probably going to go, no, that's not right. That's not exactly how that works.
Well, let's be real. That's the whole point of this. We're going to get stuff wrong. People are going to comment, and we'll get it right. Because I know when I talked about the overtake button with F1, I totally forgot about active arrow. Totally forgot about this and that, and it's wrong. I know it's wrong.
Yeah, I mean, we're not pretending.
Whatever.
Not pretending to be experts here. We're learning with everybody else. So
yeah, we're idiots. We're just gonna help present the knowledge to you. You help us get it right.
Right. Awesome. Cool.
That's fun.
Yep, fun stuff. Always learning something. So we appreciate you guys tuning in to Fast Cars Go Vroom. I think this was episode 6. So
yes, sir.
If you're still around, thanks for coming back. If this is your first episode, we encourage you to go back to number 1 and work all the way through 6 so you can see how we improved or not. But just so you can be on this ride with us.
At least you'll understand when we talk about farm animals what we're talking about.
When we refer to the pig and Ford. Yes, that's an interesting one.
I'll never forget that one, man.
All right, on. All right, well, make sure you click the like button, hit the like button. What do they say there? Smash the like button.
Dude, I truly don't know.
Subscribe so you know when we're putting out more episodes, and we'll see you next time.
They have that hype button now. Don't forget to hype us.
Oh, there's a hype button?
That's what I've heard. So hype us. Do that too. But please come back.
Yes, we'll see you next time on Fast Cars Go Vroom. I was talking to Robbie DeVore from Mansfield Motor Speedway yesterday about driving a late model dirt car. We talked about late models earlier in episode 1, I think, 2. Whatever. Yeah, we was talking about, I'd love to drive one of those until I feel I go into a turn and the rear end comes out from behind me, like, it kicks sideways. It'd be probably scarier than what you think.
I mean, I know looking at it straight on, it looks like Godzilla sat on one side of it, but then when it goes into that turn, you're like, oh, that makes so much more sense. They're going in half sideways, the whole rear end kicks out, and then the front end is like, oh, this is the arrow right here. This let me keep my hand right in front of my face as I talk. That's the way to do things. No, but I'm new at this. There you go. Hey, we now know the name. We are smarter every day. All right, I have something